if you get a great score in JEE Rank, you can join IIT Madras. It's a great core. But if you fail in JEE, there's also a chance that you become a director. Our computer science department, they've been very quite conscious to make these courses quite focused so that the student can clearly get a career path within computer science. We have this entire innovation and entrepreneurship stack. If you come with an idea, we will give you the way to make it a unicorn, provided you work hard.
Hi, my name is Amrit. We've heard that IIT Madras is the best place to build. So we've come down to the Sudan Shankar Innovation Hub. We want to meet some people. These are builders. We want to talk to them about their work and also ask them what makes IIT Madras the best place to build. Hi, welcome to the Best Place to Build podcast. Today is the big one. We are sitting with Professor Kamakoti. He's the director of IIT Madras. IIT Madras is NIRF #1 for the last 8 years. So there's a lot to cover. He's also one of India's top semiconductor research scientists. So welcome to the podcast, Professor.
Namaste. Morning.
Professor, I would like to divide our time together into 3 parts. First, I want to talk to the Professor Kamakoti, the teacher and the academic, and then we'll talk to you as the chairman of JEE earlier, so that'll be the second part, and last we'll talk to the director. So I want to ask with the basics, Professor, what do you teach? What are your research interests?
So my research interests are 3. One is I teach architecture. I work on computer architecture. That's my bread and butter. And I also worked on information security.
Okay, so if we go into it a bit, if I'm a student at IIT Madras and I want to take your course, which course will that be?
Should be computer architecture, VLSI design.
Nice. Are you still taking that course? I've heard from your students that sometimes they're called at 6 in the morning and...
That was very early days where we really wanted to experiment that how early can we. So always I believe that morning 4 to 8 is the most productive time. Your brain is fresh, provided you have slept well. So he just have this body polish Prabhatam slot.
Suprabhatam slot. Okay.
And we start at 7 o'clock and go up to 8 or 6:30 to 8. Actually, student enjoyed. I did get good attendance coming.
Nice.
We did twice a week. So sometimes some parent last part of the first decade, like 2010, 2011, and a little bit 20.
Okay.
Like experimenting. But I still teach, right? So this semester is my 50th semester at IIT.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So 49 semesters have up. One semester, that is last semester, I thought I did get another VLSI person who can take these courses. So he said he will teach that course, a cash for VLSI, which I've been teaching continuously for the last 25 years. So, but then I felt so bad not teaching in this semester. Yeah. Almost I felt like I'm getting Alzheimer's. Okay, so again this semester I started teaching testing.
And this course that you're taking, the VLSI course and the VLSI group at IIT Madras is very popular, right? A lot of students want to come here. Lots of PhD students. I met your PhD student, Sharan. He runs a startup. And I understand that there is a group called RISE Group. Can you tell us a little bit about it?
Yeah. So very early, around 2005, 2006. So first I was the hire after quite some time in the department. So was getting faculty for computer science was an ordeal at that point of time. So after almost 7-8 years, I was the first hire in the department. After that, Professor Ravindran joined, and then Shankar Balachandran, 100% also joined. So we 3 decided that systems down the line will become more autonomous. System down the line will become more reconfigurable, and they also have to become intelligent. Okay, so that's why we formed this Reconfigurable Intelligent Systems Engineering Lab.
Reconfigurable Intelligence Systems Engineering.
Okay. And that we formed around 2005, 2006. Early funding came from alumni. And then we had some grants from DST. And then the whole thing picked up. Then some of the big deliverables that have come out of Rice Lab is the Shakti Project, one of the biggest deliverables.
So the Shakti project is India's first indigenously built
Size correct.
RISC-V microprocessor.
Today we have actually four successful depots. That the four chips have been made, and to prove the quality of the microprocessor, multiple startups have started using it.
Yeah, so I read that there's Mindgrove, Incor, Vyoma, Chakra.
So we are building this entire ecosystem, right? If you want to develop a processor in the country, there should be design experts. There must be people who can code software onto it. There should be people who can verify this. There must be people who can tape it out and make PCB, etc. There should also be people who can work at the system. So developing application is one, developing operating system and system related, software stack. So this was our early idea. So we have these 6 interesting companies. So Mindgrove, Inco, which also came out of our lab. They are now into developing, designing the core, optimizing the core. We can call them like ARM. ARM basically makes the core and give to many people.
Yeah.
We can say the ARM of Shakti will be Info. Then we have Mindgrove, which actually makes SOCs. Right, you take the ARM, they take the processor core. They also optimize the processor core, and then they also put peripherals together and make chips that could be sold, that could be used by application developers. So we call Incore the Qualcomm of Shakti, right? So because Qualcomm
Mindgrove will be the
Mindgrove as the Qualcomm of
understood.
Then
So Professor, if I may interrupt a bit, I know you're saying this. Of course, you are in the thick of things, but our audience may not know. The countries across the world which you can make microprocessors on their own, that's not a lot, right? That's a small number.
That's a small number. Yes.
So with the Shakti project, and I think there are some CDAC projects also. With these projects, we enter that space, right?
In a very big way. So if you also look at the microprocessor, the servers that you see, actually, if you see, it's a very small percentage of the microprocessor market. The largest thing comes from the low-end systems, which are this embedded controllers, starting from your remote, like sleepless process, a car key. From there it starts, and each of them are very sensitive components in the thing. If your car key is failing, then somebody can steal your car.
Yeah.
So microprocessor actually plays a very important role across the segments.
Yeah.
From a least small embedded system to a large system. So when we conceive the Shakti project, we actually look at this entire family of mega. But we have something called a E class, which is an embedded class. Then we have a C class, which is basically a controller class. So then we have a I class, which is which can go into servers, mobile phones, etc. So there we need people to design it. As I told you, in core designs the core. Mindgrow also designs the core, but they also make chips.
Yeah.
Then we have somebody who, when we design, then we need somebody to verify that. So there's a company, Vyoma. Basically, it's also come out of our lab. Our own MS student is heading it. And that will look at the verification aspect of this. Whether your processor designed the process working correctly, is it meeting all the standards, meeting the performance, etc. Then we need people who can convert this software design into a mask, because initially you describe the hardware in software.
Yeah.
And then it gets into a mask, and then you go and fabricate it.
Yeah.
So this entire aspect of what you call as physical design, right? And then making the PCB, motherboard, mounting it, and coating software, that we have Chakra.
Okay. So you're saying that from the work at Rice Labs, a lot of startups have come, but in different parts of the
Parts which is necessary to make a system. It is not just a makeover. Finally, SecureWeave is a very interesting company. You look at security aspects, because every hardware that you are going to sell must be secure. If they are not secure, then it's not going to work out. So right from your embedded, to your microcontroller, to your server class, security is of prime importance. And SecureWeave works on some of the very interesting security aspects. They design supply chain algorithms, etc. So overall, I have to give you a laptop, not one processor.
Right.
Laptop.
Yeah.
For me to do that, we have now 5 or 6 companies which can help to achieve the system.
I understand. So I want to talk about two angles here. One is the startup angle, the academia startup handshake. But also before that, now India has an India Semiconductor Mission, and the work done at IIT Madras sort of almost enables that in many ways, right? It's a big deal. So with the India Semiconductor Mission, what will India be able to achieve?
In India Semiconductor Mission, we are looking at one is India has a very powerful design house, which India is so, right? Where those designs come, it can come from many institutions, it can come from small industries, large industries, and also multinational. But people who work in these multinationals, who are making this big designs, are Indians who were trained at IITs, NITs, and other institutions who go and join these jobs, and they are doing it. So ultimately, as a country, we have succeeded in getting our human capital, assembling our human capital to do some very complex designs and to successfully tape it out and deliver a system that's working.
But for other companies.
For the companies, but somehow the system is working.
Yeah.
Here you have a laptop, I have a mobile phone, it's all working, right? And there'll be surely a significant contribution of Indians to all of us.
I have heard from others, your students, that in some companies, like large companies, there's a Professor Kamakoti corridor where there are a lot of your students who are.
Right. So because VLSI courses are taught by some of our institutions, not every institution do not have very strong VLSI, but some of our IITs and NITs do have. And so this is from this lot only they get into these
Yeah.
curriculum. So it's almost quite coincident. Actually, I visited one of the big companies and in a particular office and just looked at the photo of all the employees working in that particular section. I found 84 of our students are offered.
Um, so just to give you an overall context, you're a professor of computer science. A student in computer science who joins at a BTech level, what are the courses he takes? What does he learn, and how does he specialize?
So IIT Madras per se, our computer science department, they've been very quite conscious to make these courses, quite focused, so that the student can clearly get a career path within computer science. So within computer science, if you look at, there is something called hardcore theoretical class, and we have one of the most successful theoretical computer science department, uh, especially at the undergraduate level. Imagine a second year or a third year student publishing in some top-notch journals. Unheard of at some days. I'm talking about even 80s, late 80s. Yeah, students were published at the second year of their undergraduation. They publish in top-notch journals, like second, third years. Right? Many times the project work was like a PhD presentation. Right? So this is the standard of theoretical computer science that we have at computer science. I also did my PhD here, so I had an opportunity to interact with several BTech students in the part of my stay here. And we have joint publications with BTech students. And all of them are in great positions at different parts of the world. Many of them are professors. So mainly theoretical computer sciences tend to become, academicians.
Okay.
And so that's a very great part. And we have some of the best theoretical computer scientists in some of the very interesting. So yesterday, we gave the Young Alumni Achiever Award. The person actually graduated from here in 2010, right, as a computer science. He's a PGM also. And today he's a professor at Carnegie Mellon. Full course.
I can attest to this. My closest friend when I was in campus was rank 28. He was in computer science, did theoretical computer science. Today teaches at a university in US.
Yeah. So it's kind of CMU is one of top university and he's in our top groups there. Okay, so what we see is that theoretical computer science is one good path which
Okay.
takes you, and mostly they do an academic career, but then they also do lot more of consultancy and stuff like that. So there's a very prosperous journey there. The second one is more of the system side, okay, where people work. So for the systems side, we have a very nice set of courses to make them very strong in systems, right? And third semester we do a course called Man to Tetris, right? You start with the basic gate, plus two kids can understand this. It's a NAND gate. You start
Oh,
with
NAND gate.
Yeah. And from that NAND gate, just using NAND gates, where NAND, it's an universal gate, right? you can construct any Boolean function using NAND gate. From there, you start building some small electronic components. Then you integrate this electronic components to form the microarchitecture. And that now it will be a simulation model. So you have a simulator to simulate that architecture hardware. So it will behave like a hardware. So it's a software that behaves like a hardware, and that's what we call it as a simulator. Then you have a small machine instructions for it. It will be in ones and zeros. Then you write a code which will assemble for it. Right? You write something as add some two registers, then it will convert into binary. Then you have a low-level virtual machine called a stack machine, and you write programs in the stack machine, ask your translator to translate into this assembly language, use your assembler to make it into machine 4 and simulate and see.
Nice.
And finally, you have Java. Many of you know Java, right? So Java's abridged language called Jack. And then we write a compiler for, so people write code in Jack. These kids design a compiler which will compile to the low-level virtual machine. Then use a translator which will again convert it into assembly language. Use your assembler and make it into binary and simulate on the sensor. So the entire system stack, at the end of third semester, the kids know about how the entire system works. So they understand basic digital hardware, they understand microarchitecture, they understand operating systems, they understand compilers, and they know a decent level of programming, object-oriented programming.
This is fantastic. I think a lot of people think that computer science is coding, right? But that's just at the top level, and then there are all these levels below
And
it.
all levels also are coding till you come to the architecture. But the coding will become more and more hardware specific as you come down.
Right.
Okay. Now this is one course. Then we teach a very interesting course in the fourth semester on computer organization and architecture, which will talk about that hardware and its interface. It is a toy machine that you do. Now you build upon the toy machine. And the fifth semester, there is an operating system course. It is different, right? We don't teach some theory there, where we actually make them do a lot of practicals. We take an abridged version of Linux and put it on a system. Okay, so that's what we do. And the last one is a compiler course. Okay. The strong compiler course. So when you look at the computer science curriculum, on the system side, we teach them every part of this journey. That will be very interesting because it is sort of very unique, right? Few IITs do that. And this is the second part. The third part is on the application side. Like, we have speech processing, we have language processing, we have AI, right? Some fundamental concepts of AI, then we have databases, we have networking, communication. All these things also come part of your application side. Right? So we have theoretical computer science basket, we have a systems basket, and we have these application baskets. And people can the core courses, everybody takes all the core courses. So at the end of your fifth to sixth semester, you can decide where you want to go. Should I go this way or should I go that way? And then you can make your choice and do it.
So the VLSI part of things will come under systems.
VLSA part will come under systems. So VLSA part will become as electives.
Okay.
Right. So they can take CAD for VLSI, digital design test.
So I'm guessing in each of these three things you can specialize in.
If you want, you can specialize. So there are some core courses that are common across these three. All the core courses, all the students have to take. For example, the NAND to Tetris Wala, which is called the Foundation of Computer Science, the Computer Organization Architecture, and then the operating system compilers, everybody has to take. Okay, that's fundamental. If you say, I'm a computer science and engineer, right? The engineering aspect actually talks about this. And there are some courses like discrete mathematics, okay, from mathematical foundation to computer science, data structure algorithm, that's on the theory side, they have to take. Then there are some courses like networking database. More on the application side, you see more electives than core. But these two, systems and hardware, systems and theoretical computer science, will have real core courses. Every student is mandated to take.
Okay, understood. And because you mentioned on the application side, you mentioned a little bit of AI. I want to understand now there's a BTech in AI also. So that'll be, how is that different?
Yeah. So we have an AI and data analytics, BTech in AI and data analytics. So this what has happened is AI per se is not now just computer science. AI has spread across multiple disciplines. AI is everywhere, all pervasive. Okay. Now every department has their own DNA of how they use AI. What are the data that are available? What is the type of predictions that they are looking at? What is the type of decision making they want to do? Where they want AI to help them? These are all different stories. And each department has their own language of AI. So I can make a language model, so what's a domain specific language model for bioengineering. I can make a domain specific language model for electrical engineering, domain specific language model for management studies, domain specific language model for history.
Understood. So the AI used in, say, by a stock market analyst or a AI used by a
But AI
geneticist.
scientists, chemistry and physics, there's a difference.
Difference. Okay.
So that to encompass all these things and put, so I need to have one janta, right? Which can appreciate this cross-disciplinary work and focus, and so they become scientists, they become engineers, technocrats who can handle this diversity, and that is precisely what we are attempting in the AI data science. DSAT, right? Data analytics and AI. And this basically the BTech course is basically on AI and data analytics.
Okay.
Right? Well, analytics becomes extremely important, right? And to do this analytics, we need quite a significant, circuit, right? So these are some of the very interesting things that you will see in the AIDI.
Okay. One semester of 1 year of students are already in the course. This will be the second year.
Yeah. You can have a podcast with some of those kids. They'll
We did. Oh yeah, we should call the kids.
yeah, all the kids, right?
Yeah.
Kids will tell you much more stories. It's a world class course. I'm saying. So we have been, this syllabus has been vetted by all the top notch data scientists and AI experts across the country, and we across the world, right? And we have a very very strong. So Vadani is our, again,
Alumnus.
sir,
Yeah.
alumnus. Very graciously has given us a 110 grant. Yeah. So
Actually, on that topic, I don't think that everybody knows that for a lot of AI work, a lot of money is required because you need the data clusters, you need the infrastructure to be able to do those algorithms and run that.
yeah, more see, so establishing an AI department is easy provided you have good money to hire cloud.
Yeah.
Like hire cloud, hire along with the GPUs. So we need a lot of storage. We need that. That's the money that is required today because of the hardware and requirements. And that's the, otherwise setting up data science department, we did not face any big difficulty. Unlike, setting up the medical sciences department where we had invested more than 160 crores so far to bring the department to shape. So medical science is a very big, beautiful field now. It's we have world-class curriculum in Bachelor of Science in Medical Science and Technology. And we are seeing some very top students joining that particular course.
We met Professor Ravindran on the podcast earlier. He's the head of the Department of AI and Data Science. I was checking him. First of all, that podcast was really good because Professor is such a easy person to talk to, and he's a great professor.
Yeah.
Teaches really well, and you imagine that he'll be very busy, but he actually responds and he gives time, which is great. Also, today, you know what happens is the students when they join IITs and research groups, they check everybody's Google Scholar uh, account, every professor's account, and Professor Ravindran, of course, is very high on that. So, is a very accomplished researcher. On this medical science thing, so now what are the courses that the medical science department
So
offers?
we have one BS course, Bachelor of Science in Medical Sciences and Engineering. BS in MSc, Medical Sciences.
Okay.
Medical Sciences and Engineering.
But this admission is through
IIT, ISER aptitude.
ICER aptitude test. Okay.
So there we get very good students. They have been last two batches, now the third batch is going. So the time is flying fast. You say, like, we started this course yesterday.
Yeah.
But now we have the third batch is going to join in July.
And before the BS in medical science, which is of course offered by the new department, there was also biotechnology and bioscience engineering.
Yeah. So if you look at basically, medical stack is in four, right? First, you have this anatomy, physiology, and all those education of that. Then the engineering modeling, right? Engineering modeling of the human body,
Okay.
right? So describe heart as a set of partial differential equations.
Okay.
You get my point, right? The mathematical modeling, it's almost it is mathematics, mathematics and some amount of physics plus chemistry plus basic science, biology. But the model of the modeling of the human body is the second slide.
Okay.
The third one, as this I got from my friend Srinivas Chakravarti, is now faculty at medical sciences. And this is his definition in his way, which quite logical and reasonable. So third part has the medical devices and pharmacology, right? And the last one is basically the clinical trials. So MBBS talks from teaches anatomy, physiology, and they directly goes to clinical practice. While the biomedical engineering others, we talk a lot about devices, we talk about some amount of pharmacology, some amount of modeling, and then we take it from basic and right anatomy. But the second part, solely the second part, right? I would like the viewers to study a book called Virtual You. Actually, the author of the book was here sometime, uh, called Virtual You. And I think that will be, that is the thought of the title song for the BS in Medical Sciences.
Understood.
Where you make the entire human body, right? You want to mathematically model, giving engineering models. And that is what this curriculum is.
I want to also little point out here that in terms of engineering modeling and medical especially medical devices, India has not been very strong, and but we are a huge consumer of medical devices, right? So these engineers who are coming out of here and the work that is done here, this is going to really boom in the near future.
Exactly. See, somewhere during COVID, we realized the need for Atmanirbhar medical technologies, right? When we were looking at ventilators, many things. That's time when the Honorable Prime Minister came out with the National Digital Health Mission, NDHM. So I'm still part of some committees of the NDHM. Now, NDHM per se is the gateway for medical devices. So medical devices, we have a lot of important things. Like you have one way dentist, there is one small rod that they keep to keep your foot open. Like,
The
that
plastic.
itself is imported.
Yeah.
Okay, so we start. So 99% probably we are importing. And slowly, but vaccine, which was Atmanirbhar, gave us some sort of uh, some sort of comfort zone that we can be good at medical technology. I think that spirit
In
is
fact, I remember now at 2, 3 years back, we traveled together to Hyderabad for an Ask IITM event, and somebody asked you a question, and you were saying that everybody cannot become a computer scientist. COVID was not invented by a coder; it was invented by a.
and the vaccine was by a
I'm so sorry. The COVID vaccine, not
yeah, it's so
bioscience student.
the bioscience. So this whole effort of trying to indigenize medical technology extremely important,
Interesting.
and that's what we feel that the BS students will aspire to do.
Professor, you have an overview of everything, and I want to ask you. We spoke about the research coming out of Rice Labs becoming commercial, and now we're talking of the relationship between the engineers who will come and they'll do something commercial. I've heard you speak about the academia industry handoff and how in IIT Madras that's become like a big thing, right? Can you tell us about that a little bit?
So we started this building. So this is the seaside building where we are sitting. The first floor, when you see up, you can see that's the Nirman. Second floor is the Gopalakrishnan Deshpande Center. You can just see from here.
Yeah.
Okay, all these are here. So you can focus the camera at that point and then
Yeah.
show the viewers where they are. Okay, so and then we have the entrepreneurship cell, which is also quite. So we have this entire innovation and entrepreneurship stack.
Yeah, so that's CFI, Nirman, Gopalkrishnan Deshpande.
Cell, PFI, Nirman, all the domain-specific incubators, and then finally the Gopalakrishnan test parties. We have this 6 nice, well-knitted stuffs. And this will be, if you come with an idea, Bhaiya, Bahan, we will give you the way to make it a unicorn, provided you work hard. So this is the answer that we are giving. I mean, that's what you are seeing all the kids who are working here.
Professor, that's the Raftar team, and we are recording this in the week of Aether announcing its IPO. And they started as Raftar students,
Yeah,
right?
they are also the star students.
Yeah.
And all. So wave cars actually give you the inputs for a passenger car. Today, whatever you see in the passenger car was once upon a time in the race car. Now they are working on the EV, electric race car, and the next generation of electric car will basically, spun out of some of their very findings. So this is what we do here. So if you have an idea, Bhaiya Bahan, Apo will take you to the final stage. So this is very clear message that we are giving here. Now, so I thought, okay, what will happen? See, if you see, just see there, no, we started where the roadmap from
Yeah.
2007.
Professor, 2007, the CFI committee, you remember, right?
Yeah.
I was so long back, but it feels like almost yesterday.
Yesterday. Now we have seen this around 18 years of journey. 2003 to no, what 18 more than that. 2007, yeah, 2007, 18 years. 2005, we are here. See, now can we? So first thing is, yeah, this chicken and egg problem. The chicken is patents. Right? So either we fix the patents. So this year we have 417 patents. Last year 386. So we have crossed a patent a day. So that's something, it's good, right? When I joined as the associate dean in 2018, Professor Getu was the dean, then he said, you take care of the intellectual property. At point of time, we had some 10 people in that IP cell, some 2 or 3 people was come. Today, worked like a dental clinic, okay? So we have a big queue sitting there. And every day I see a lot of emails floating around, and that essentially has seen a big transformation today. Patent a day has now. People are working very hard for that to keep it up. That is the Josh.
Yeah.
See, now again I say, okay, this horse also ran that, it's over. But see, as an institute, we have to start seeing something different. Okay. Just coming here, studying, taking a job, going, settling in life. If that's the way we have to run a premier institute, I don't think it's worth it. Okay. But we want a change. So what will we do with this? First thing is patents. So we need to generate more and more intellectual property for the country. Right? Today, technology superpower means how much of the standard essential patents your country holds. Today, some of the countries are big, they are powerful because they hold some of these standard essential patents. Meaning, when you do anything in that area which is adhering to a standard, we have to pay royalty to them.
Let me give an example. The Bluetooth patent is held by one company, and then anybody using Bluetooth has to pay that company. Yeah.
Exactly. So now we are doing that. And what do you mean by holding the patent? We have to file the patent and get it approved and we share. So that we are doing as a very big venture. We are doing that stuff here. Now, what will we do with these patents? They can't just be hanging. I say I have four. So fir kya, right? So that's the next question that will come. So the next thing is that we thought, okay, startup shatam, because I have 100 startups. So this year, I thought it'll take 4-5 years to reach the stage. This year we have 105, 104 startups incubated.
Nice.
Right? In which more than 40-50% are from IIT students, but we also open. So IITM for all, lol. We are taking anybody who wants to come and any Indian who wants to attend.
But they have to make a tech startup.
They have to make a tech startup.
Yes.
Tech means tech is also fintech. Humanities, we have digital.
Yeah, but to quote the minister recently, it cannot be an ice cream startup unless it's they're making ice
deep
cream.
core startups. Deep core startups.
Yeah.
So we have spread across agriculture, health, space, quantum. We have 2 quantum startups here incubated, say, Manhattan. So these are deep core startups. Like Agnicool, the patent. It's a very interesting startup. Avishkar, Hekel, Tutor, Secure. We have all these companies, these 4-5 companies I mentioned that have come out of plus N companies that have come out of mechanical engineering, planets, solar NASA, all these. Everybody has a very deep core technology.
It's nice. I feel like when I was in campus, 2003 to 8, maybe there was a lot of Josh, but that pathway to go all the way was not there. So I also feel like many times parents and students think of IIT as a conduit. I'll get a admit, I'll get a placement, I'll go somewhere else. This path in the middle is just one temporary, but it's not like that now.
No. Yesterday was our institute day, and we had 10 of our distinguished alumni. We gave a DA awards yesterday. We had from academia, industry, public service. Dr. Somnath was there. The ANRF chief, Shivpu, is our alumnus. 83, he P.Tech in computer science. So we we just saw that in their type of alumnus who has come out of IIT Madras, just getting a job is not our ultimate goal that we have seen. So that is only we changed this placement cell we had. In your days, you would have had this.
Yeah.
Even as placement office and cell. We said, no, this is a career pathway center. We gave it a different, first, everything starts in a name. Naming is very. So we started as a career pathway center. And students are looking at 4-5 options. When I did a very careful survey on the convocation day, where we really know where you are, right, on the convocation day, because I'm giving you a degree certificate. That is a formal certificate saying now you are an alumni.
Yeah.
Right? No more a student, you are now an alumni. Then that day you come back and tell me, okay, where you are, right? So convocation survey, we did in 23, 24, because I was always of a suspicion that people register for placement, right? They don't even sit for 20% of the companies.
Yeah.
And sometimes they say, sir, we are not interested. They come and attend interview and say, no, we are not interested. We are having other options. And middle time, they also withdraw. They say, I'm not interested in. Right? But they register for placement in, say, August, because August they have not decided. Somewhere we start around July, August.
Placement season starts in August
December. But
and
the
goes on to
registration
December. Yeah.
registration starts in August.
Yeah.
And many
And then there are tests that the companies get.
test and other things. But students that time they are not decided. They register. Then after some time they say no. And what are the other options? So first option is again around the 55-60% of the students. 50%, maximum 50% of the students, 40 to 50% of the students are only preferring jobs.
Yeah. So about half want jobs.
40%, less than half. This has been decreasing. That's the number of people today aspiring to go for a job is now ranging between 40 to 50.
Yeah. And just to point out here, the jobs at campus are very good.
No,
They're all excellent
so
jobs.
we have this median salary of some 16, 17 lakhs.
It's about 20 now.
Now 20. Somewhere around that. Okay. It doesn't matter here because they are very interesting jobs, but they are not paymasters. You also get it, right? They're very good jobs. Some of the very big companies who come here, core technology companies, they give you a very interesting job, but they are not paymasters. They give you 15 lakhs. See, at an engage, 15 lakhs is enough for you. That's See, your job must be interesting. And that's what I tell the kids. Pay package is not important at this age. You should learn more.
Professor, we'll come back to pay later.
Okay. So I'm just finishing this story. So when we just talk about career pathway, jobs are that. But then there is a significant amount of people who want to go for entrepreneurship. And that is increasing. Then there is a significant set of people who want to go for higher studies. Then significant set of people who want to take certain competitive examination like UPSC. So I had people who are graduating in convocation 2026. How many people are interested to come for civil service? We just have interaction with the civil servants, some successful civil servants. A call was made, 400 people turned up. 400. I'll be graduating around,
1200 undergrad.
Hundreds undergrad and the remaining same.
Maybe around 2000. Yeah.
2000. I have 400, already 20% are showing interest in civil services, and they will probably they want to take an easy job, not a tough job, but then which will give them a lot more time to prepare for civil services. So that's also something. And then of course, there's some students they say, I want time to decide, let me take a small break. I've been slogging for so many years.
Yeah.
I want a little research and then go. Okay, so these are some of the very interesting. But one thing I would like to also say here before I wind up here, all students who have got above 8 CGPA, they should come to class and study well. Keep in hostel, you can't get a job, okay? are all well placed, their careers have been. Okay. So this is the current scenario. There have been a lot of news items saying that placement is declining, employment is declining. At least from an IIT Madras perspective, yeah, I don't see anything changing or anything, and people are good as they were, and we are there we are.
On that, I have a comment that an institution like IIT Madras thinks in decades and centuries, right? So this recession is a mere blip. Maybe a little bit will change here and there, but it's not something that affects the
Still,
norm.
I don't think there is a recession in the sense that today I am not able to get a good system administrator for my lab.
Yeah, understood.
You got my point, right? So people have to understand the subject. They have to be quite thorough with the subject. Thoroughness is something the student must aspire rather than a pay package. That's my and career pathways is not just jobs. There are multiple pathways.
Jobs, entrepreneurship, higher studies, and competitive exams like UPSC, CAT,
UPSC,
GR.
CAT, GATE, everything.
Yeah. A lot of them also stay on to do masters here.
Yeah,
if their field of interest is very interesting.
So we don't fix the mods. See, we don't want. See, I am quite against asking a kid in 10th standard, 11th standard saying we want to take science or commerce. Neither they have understood their interest.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, we have to give us. And then on that day, one single examination, we give some karma degree, right? I don't know whether you like the degree you get. But maybe.
Professor, let's deep dive onto that. You were the JEE chairman for a while,
Yes.
and you were involved in JEE counseling for students for a long time. So I want to ask you one most obvious question: why is JEE so difficult?
See, JEE, today there is a difference between IIT education and the education outside. Let me tell you the difference. You would have anthropology. See, there are questions asked which test the conceptual understanding. There are questions asked that use the concepts that you have understood. Right? I am asking you about the concept. I am asking you to use the concept and answer a question. That's a big difference. Given and earth difference in that. Okay, you got my point. IIT education is of the second nature. We make them use the concept, and that concept need not necessarily be from this subject. It can be from some 4, 5 other subjects that you are studying. That is why we have this core engineering coming out in the core subjects being aligned in some fashion. Because when I teach, say, computer architecture organization, I can't say first year come and listen. I want them to take foundation of computer science. They have to understand some amount of Boolean algebra. They have to understand some amount of reasoning. They should understand some amount of programming. All these courses, 4 courses, will help them clear this particular thing. And that's a very tight connection. And the way we question, the way type of questions that we put is certainly a second or third higher order thinking scale. Otherwise, you don't get the great jobs. Right? We cannot dilute the standard so that, otherwise you can't claim that we have great jobs, we have great scientists. Where does greatness come? Because of this very hard training, right? So there's no substitute for hard training. There's no substitute for this hard work that you need to put for 4 years to become a great engineer.
Right.
And whether you can withstand that type of education is what JEE Advanced teaches you. What's the difference between JEE Advanced and other examination? If you have a question in trigonometry, many of the examination, including school, it will be question in trigonometry. But here it uses trigonometry plus calculus plus vector algebra.
Understood.
Right? And how quickly you are able to relate multiple concepts to solve a single problem.
Understood. So there's some element of conceptual understanding across few ideas.
Across the ideas within your plus 2 syllabus.
Within your plus 2 syllabus. There's also you're hinting that it also pushes you to be rigorous, which is anyway a requirement.
Rigorous pushes you to be more creative, pushes you to use whatever you know to that context. That's very important. See, what is engineering today? I want to even make this small artificial plant, right?
Yeah.
Oh, that's a chemical, there's a 3D printing, you need to have this beautiful elegance, that's some aesthetic.
Yeah. There's some assembly.
6 disciplines of engineering would have been involved, including architecture, aesthetics, to basically make just small cup which has these plates. It's doable actually, I say. So this is what something which
Understood. Professor, just to complete this a little bit, who sets the paper?
IT profs.
IT professors. So every year, I think it's a different IIT, right?
IIT organizing, but all we have great people.
Okay. Professor, on this topic, because the JEE exam finally ends up with a rank, right? So I want to ask you, because you have spoken about it earlier, there's a strange kind of duality. We want students to get the best rank. At the same time, we tell them if you don't get the best rank, there's already a lot of flexibility. You can figure it out. You can sort of take electives and so on. So it's like a duality, right?
See, the two things are there. See, you know, uh, there is a little amount of luck
Hmm.
that also clears your marks, right? If you look at the toppers, of course, that is very clear. It's a bell curve, right? The examination is a bell curve, and we select the right part of the tail, correct?
Yeah.
And that's how it can be, because if we have 1.5 million students who is aspiring for 17,000, 20,000, probably 25,000 seats over the next 4 years, the budget honorable come from us, given another 6,000 extra students in some of the third generation IITs, right? So we'll get some 25. 1.5 million to 25,000 reduction has to come through this bell curve. And you need a fairly legally sustainable, tenable stuff, right? So this is sounds true. Now, when we look at this bell curve, uh, on the tail of the tail, it's a quite dispersion. Like 356 is the first mark, then 350 is second mark. But when you come a little bit on this tail, on the left hand side of this tail, you see that 1 or 2 marks or 3 marks actually changes the rank quite significantly.
Correct. Yeah.
So that's an element of luck, right? But then what we are telling the kids is every department that they join. I said this vaccine fact, right? It's not a joke, right? So biological scientists are the reason why you and me are talking to the mass today. Fossils would have been dead if you don't have the vaccine. Vaccine, whatever, it has controlled. It has brought the country into some running mode back, right? So every discipline that we are looking there will certainly have very good course. There's not going to be some, like, there is no bad mother.
Yeah.
There's no bad course. Every course has its own distinct, contribution to the society, distinct contribution technologically,
Yeah.
and distinct position in the world, right, from the global scenario. So what we are saying is, write the exam, put your best, depending upon the rank and depending upon the interest you take. Okay, there was a lot of computer science students come and say, why I took this course, I should have taken engineering physics. And I have end stories I could tell about that. So the parents must ensure that the kid actually joins the course that they like.
Yeah.
They don't want computer science, I don't want coding, but then, oh, you got Olympia rank 1. Just go and join computer science. That's not a thing.
Yeah. I mean, some students are, it's funny when I think about it. If you think of the top 100 ranks, they have anything they want to do, right? They can take anything. Like a herd, if they choose the same thing, it feels like, why do you have so much freedom? If you have so much freedom, do what you want, right? I can do anything, so I should be able to do anything. But
Somewhere, that's what I'm saying. At the end of +2, they are guided by a lot of people. They cannot, and they say, oh, hey, if you take this particular computer science, your future is ensured. Others, we don't know. So they don't talk ill about other things. But they say this is a very sure path. You can go up and you can make a lot of money. So somewhere that notion of security overshadows the notion of interest,
so you're saying that many of them are just taking safe bets.
playing safe.
Yeah.
But I say that, let's say today India's maritime economy is so big.
Yeah.
Civil aviation is growing big. Right? Infrastructure is going great. Advanced manufacturing is happening. And none of this has great relevance in computer science, and in the core subject is not.
In fact, I want to point out that the again, we are sitting in the week of the Aether IPO, and those two alumnus who founded that, they're engineering design students, right?
Because they're all big. Indian design is a wonderful course.
Yeah.
This is the medical section, not science and engineering equivalent explorative course of our first decade of the new century
Yeah,
of engineering.
and the minute Sensex hits that bell, they will be richer than all the computer science
Yes.
students in their degree.
Yes.
Yeah, it's amazing. Thank you so much. I want to just dive in a little bit more. Suppose you were to advise the parent of a rank 50 student, rank 500 student,
Wanted to
and a
actually
rank
start the
5,000 students.
These days, this counseling has become online.
Yeah.
But those days, it was personal counseling. So we have a hall like this, nice SR type. We should have this counseling where we put a bench like this. I'll be sitting, the counselor will be sitting here, and people can come and talk. So I had a kid. I had two elderly people, parents, mother and father, coming saying, you said 50 rank, right? This guy has got some 200 rank. It doesn't matter big, like 200 rank. Will he get computer science? First they came. I said, where is the? I'm to counsel the kid first, right? So I said, where is the boy? Yes, boy. Boy was standing there half a acre away. I called the boy. So that boy came. He stood next to me and said, I asked him, my caught his, put my hand on his shoulders, you know, really made him feel a bit comfortable. He was the big tense. I said, that exit ranks, man. What do you want to do? Oh, he wanted to do engineering physics. We introduced engineering physics at those days. It was just 1 or 2 years. So he started saying, mother from computer science choose. And they build this computer science choice. Okay. Now, the story starts here. After this, parents left. This guy, he said, oh, I want to go to washroom or something. And he took some permission and he again came here. Sir, can you change it to engineering physics? I said, you are still minor. You're 70. If I change it to engineering physics without the consent of your parent, I will lose my job and you will also be into problem. So join whatever course you want. But when you want to do engineering, sir, I went all the way to Canada, Olympiad, of this day, everything, sir. You know why I wrote this JEE so well, I got this rank, and surely get into this computer science stuff. I don't want it. Okay. And then don't borrow. By your rank, you suddenly get into IIT Madras, electrical engineering. Now you be here. Okay, and you learn some physics course only first year. At the end of first year, you become 18, you become major. Okay, then you can make your choice. You ask for a branch change. We'll give you that branch change. And you can go up to engineering. What I'm saying is, parents must sit and talk. Just not talk to all the neighbors, all the people who play there, and then keep talking to them, advice, right? Parents just should talk to the kid. Ask them, "Arey, what is your interest?" Right? And based on that, I think they should make. Otherwise, if they don't like the course and they come here, they are also away from home for the first time in life. Stress starts, right? This is something which I make in this podcast. Tell parent to pay. Please call your kid, ask the kid what he or she wants to. That's very, very.
Yeah. Yeah. You earlier
Your
spoke.
mother or father asked you.
Yeah, I got I took mechanical at IIT Madras. I think
Choice or by rank?
by choice, I would have got computer science maybe in Guwahati. At that time, computer science in Guwahati was new, so I could have got that. I think my parents were asking me to take that. My mother is a computer scientist.
Okay,
I was sure I want to do mechanical.
okay.
So,
Good. One example.
but
Thank you, mother.
but we did meet students in the podcast who have taken computer science and then done something else. The co-founder of Swiggy is an alumnus of us, computer science student. Obviously, he went by a management route, now is the co-founder there. We also met Sriram, who was helpful in setting up the happiness course.
Yes.
He was also a computer science student, rank 51. He's a coach now. I guess they fan out. Um, just before we move away from JEE, I want to also ask you, the competitive nature of this exam sort of pushes everyone into one mindset. And when I look back at the curriculum that is there in 11th and 12th, some really beautiful topics, right? There's trigonometry, rotational dynamics, there's nuclear energy. First time you read E equal to mc square and all that. Do you see a future where it's possible that students in 11th and 12th will actually enjoy that syllabus?
Yeah. So the point is, that's what I again say. If you get a great score in JEE rank, you can certainly become a. You can join IIT Madras. It's a great course. But if you fail in JEE, there's also a chance that you become a director. I repeatedly said, the JEE is one means of success. It's not the only means. One among the multiple means of support. Wherever you go, study well, right? And you'll come up in life. And, you can't shy away from competition. You work hard. You put your best. When it comes, it comes. It doesn't come, okay. There are so many things in life. JEE alone is not the end game forever. Or it gives you some. It's again like Diwali crackers. No, the moment you burst over, next Diwali again you have to start. Like so, the moment you are announced, the rank comes. Not necessary that the topper here gets a topper in PGM, right?
Yeah.
Very rarely we see that
Yeah.
topper of a particular proper JEE topper who joins a particular institute, the top rank.
Yeah.
JEE is not the topper finally. So, so things are changing. Things are so. My again request is children might have this, but they want to join, etc. Parents should not fuel it, no, blow it, no. Got it?
Nice.
So they should say, okay, they should, whatever I am saying now is what I am expecting from the parents. Are work hard. Whatever you want, I'll give you. Just not keep seeing WhatsApp, IPL at these days. Enjoy. But from 6th standard, it should not say cricket. You can't go there. If vitamin D was nil in some of the candidates. Nil.
Yeah.
10. Could be some 30 or what, something like that. Nil, 10. So, somebody said vitamin D is low, you become, you become stressed. So, when we had certain events.
Are you saying that students who come into IIT?
Very less than some students we profile as a random thing. They have not seen sun. I should say this is called grass, this is called green. That's why we started this to sports excellence.
Yeah.
Clearly telling the parents, if you play well, also you can get it by IIT Madras in a plum course according to you.
Yeah. Professor, let's shift tracks a bit. As a director, I want to ask you. Of course, we are talking about students working hard and getting a rank. IIT has also worked very hard and got the NIRF rank 1 for many years in a row. What gives, Professor? How come we end up consistently being on top?
We are aligning ourselves with the national priorities.
Okay.
That's very, very important. And we are touchwood, we are working as a very cohesive unit. Like within the faculty, staff. You'll have, see, any place will have some difference of opinions and other things will be there. But what we do is, any such thing, we try to resolve it at the earliest and finally come to some consensus and everybody agrees to that consensus and put their full heart in it. And that is a semblance of a great institution. And I'm very blessed that what has given me this opportunity to lead this institution for this talk, right? So that is something excellent about IIT Madras. Yesterday we had the Ambedkar Jayanti. We had a meeting there, and I get an opportunity to meet the faculty staff together. One of the things that have come up is, as a director, I never, very rarely, I get into a mode where I am resolving issues, right? The next rank after the director, people who report to the director, the registrar, the deans, the HODs, at that level itself, multiple things get resolved. So the director is actually given some peace of mind to basically think about large vision, like all your sports excellence admission, your fine arts admission, so many things you have now brought in.
Yeah.
All the new changes. The director needs a free mind to look at these things, right? So to basically conceive of, put things in place, etc. And that is.
So yes, there's a lot of cohesion. There's a lot of collaboration.
Cohesion is the most important thing for us to maintain some certain pace. So this is number 2. Number 3 is we had a strategic plan, and very interestingly, we did not make some other person write our strategic plan. The strategic plan was actually done by our own, young faculty. Young faculty in the sense, we take faculty in the age group of 40 to 60 to write the strategic plan. Preferably less than or equal to 45, so that when the plan gets implemented, they have another 20 years for implementing it and they own the plan.
Yeah.
It's my plan, man. It's my plan. That's the ownership is what we give that. And the strategic plan, once accepted, it was presented and shown. The board has accepted it, and it was released by the Honorable Minister Dharmendra Kolanji when he was here at the campus. And it is 2 years since we released the strategic plan, and we have been adhering to the strategy. So there is a focus. So what we are doing to do, like the national education policy, there's one policy which, what does the NEP gave us, because it gave us something that we can focus on, gave us something that we can align to. So that is also something which we are seeing as a reason for us to be humble.
Nice. Professor, I have just two questions left. So one, you spoke about the NIRF rankings. We are also improving in the QS rankings, the international rankings. Is that something that IITs really look forward to? Is it aligned to something we can
Yeah,
do?
yeah. So Chris ranking actually, what was very impressive is the sustainability thing. Actually, lot of insights we got into that sustainability. The first year, we did not even submit the data correctly. There was some understanding what we understood about sustainability and what QS was looking was very difficult. And we were rated some 640 in the world. We said, hey, come on, we are doing so much.
We are in a forest.
There's dollars from we are doing that. This time we fished it up and we were whooping. We came from 640 to some 300 or something. In 1 year itself, we jumped 300 times because we understood what all we are doing in the sustainability and we started projecting it further. I think, but then we learned a lot of things from the sustainability ranking skewers. So I'm very impressed. The whole school of sustainability came up then, right? School of Sustainability was there in our agenda, but QS ranking parameters thought that where we can concentrate and fine tune it, and that gave us more share. So we are also looking at this IRN, this is International Research Network, where we have some mobility and other things. That is also something where we need to improve. And of course, research is a consistent work, right? So we have, with the IOE grant, we have set up some 15 centers of excellence. We have also got some very, very good equipments. We have installed these equipments now. And yesterday, we opened up 5 labs. Yesterday, Dr. Shivkumar, ANRF chief, he came here yesterday. We opened up 5 different facilities, just state-of-the-art facilities. Already HOD chemistry said that they have no papers. In the last 1 month, they have some journal papers that they have never done in the life. So that's how we are improving the research. So international research network, our citation improvement, and also the sustainability are 3 areas where we have to keep working, right? Working. So there's nothing like we have to move so fast to for the parameters to look at, we are at least standing, right? We are not doing, right? So that's very important. But then comes the fourth, which is perception, for which I don't have a big answer. Whatever possible podcast, this thing, we are now talking about perception. We are sending the top 50 schools. We have at least 47 of them. We have other alumni as a faculty, the top 50 schools. So we are trying to improve our perception. But it depends upon how the work.
It also takes time.
May take time, but that's out of syllabus for me. I don't know what to do. I'm whatever I can, I'm doing, making myself more available, explaining what is IIT Madras. Hopefully, our perception improves. That 45 marks of QS is out of syllabus for me. The remaining 55, these 3 are the parameters that
45 marks is perception.
perception.
My God. Professor, last question. I want to come back to philosophy. I have always been fascinated that the logo of IIT Madras has the word Siddhir Bhavati Karmaja. And of course, everybody on campus knows it. It's a big part of our lives, right? What does it mean to you, and how should students and alumni carry it forward in our lives?
Saitri Upanishad, there is this statement, Swadhyaya Pravachanabhyamna Pramatidakya. Essentially means you should never be unmindful of your obligation to learn and to teach, right? And once you do that, Shakti Bhavati Karmaja, the Karmaja there, what is your karma here? Learn and teach. Then you get all your satisfaction. This is how I relate. These 2 statements are the guiding factors. Last one, as a teacher, which I am also insisting now when I recruit new teachers, after as a director, right, some of the very pleasant tasks that you do is that you recruit people who are going to run your institute for next 30, 40 years. That's a big satisfaction. So we've recruited more than 160 faculty in the last 3 years, right? What comes there is, there is one Prashnottara Malika of Adi Shankaracharya, which says, they ask Adi Shankara, Ko Guru Ke, who is a teacher? The response is, Kadikada Tattvaha, Shishya Hitaya Vidyataha Sat. What it means is, the person should be completely knowledgeable of what he or she is expected to teach or do research. Should be Adhikata Tattva means completely should be knowledgeable. and always think about students, welfare of students. So I insist, of course, during the interview, we see whether they have the fundamental knowledge. But then we want to tell them at least that student first. These three guiding principles will take the institute to new heights. And I believe that all our faculty have been doing it. Ask me why NIRF 111. This is mostly
Hi. On that note, thank you very much for being with us. Professors, so grateful that you gave us the time.
very nice. Hope you enjoyed. I enjoyed all the questions.
And we'll see you during Ask IITM.
Yeah.
Hopefully, we'll get to meet the students again.
Sure.